Good morning, children. This early morning session is dedicated to class 12 as there is, exam. We are going to conduct tests. So it is a revisional assignment and we are going to discuss the poem number 4, a beautiful poem by John Keats, A Thing of Beauty. John Keats has really worshipped beauty, and this voices his eternal love for beauty. Now, in the very first and second stanza, what the poet says, a thing of beauty is an everlasting joy for us. He says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. In its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. The poet in the very first stanza says that a beautiful sight or a thing of beauty is a permanent source of joy. The poet speaks of the permanent nature of beautiful things which give us an everlasting joy. Not only that, the poet says that their loveliness goes on increasing, it never fades away. The loveliness of the beautiful sights and beautiful things never fades away, rather, it keeps on increasing. And then he says that the just like that, the beautiful sight gives the memory of the beautiful sight is stored in our mind and it never fades away. They give us sleep, sound sleep that results in good health and body and mind, and it provides us tranquility and peace. See, what is important for, a healthy body and mind? A sound sleep is important. And how can we really derive sound sleep? A beautiful, the memory of beautiful sights of nature, memory of beautiful sights that is stored in our mind provides us a sound sleep, and that sound sleep results into sound health, and that gives us tranquility of mind, peace of mind. So in the very first stanza, the poet is emphasizing upon the importance of eternity of beautiful things, that any beautiful thing is a source of permanent joy, and its beauty keeps on increasing, its loveliness keeps on increasing, it never fades away. So the theme of the poem is beauty, youth, and eternal joy. The nature, the beautiful things that gives us an everlasting joy, it never fades away. It goes on increasing, just like when we sleep in the sweet shade of a bower, we get sound sleep and we get peace of mind. In the similar way, the beautiful sights that the memory of the beautiful sights which is kept stored in our mind remains an eternal source of joy, which provides us peace of mind, a sound sleep, and that sound sleep results into our sound health, and certainly it gives us tranquility and peace of mind, and that is what is required for a good mental health. In stanza 2, the poet says, therefore on every morrow we are wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble nature, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, of all the that make for searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape searching. In spite of all this despondence, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. The poet says that when we get up next morning with this sweet memory of these beautiful things, after we get a sound sleep, and when we get up next morning, the beautiful memories of these beautiful and sweet dreams help us strengthen our bond with earth. It is very important that we should be connected with the earth. Our bonding with the earth should be stronger, and in order to have a strong bond with earth, it is required that we should understand the eternity of nature, eternity of beauty. So the when next morning when we get up with these beautiful memories, these sweet memories that is already stored in our mind after a sound sleep, when we get up, they strengthen our bond with the earth. Not only that, that is the reason why the poet feels that every morning when we prepare a wreath of flower that bind us to the earth very strongly. So hopelessness, and sadness and lack of noble ways are part of human life. See, so long as we are alive, we are bound to have hopelessness, sadness, and lack of noble ways. They are part of human life. We should never be, distracted to these, these demerits. Hopelessness, sadness, and lack of noble ways are an integral part of life. So long as we are alive, we are bound to suffer this. But what really supports us to get rid of these hopelessness can go away only when we have sweet memory of beautiful things. So whenever we look at these beautiful sights, whenever we come across these beautiful ways, they help us get away these, hopelessness. And by who is responsible for making us unhealthy or sad or despondent? This, inhuman thoughts, or rather we can say that unhealthy way of life that we have adopted, makes us hopeless and despondent, but and they harm our health also. So we are following this unhealthy way of life. In order to get rid of this, we have to keep in memory the wonderful sights, the beautiful sights that we always keep on getting across our surrounding. So some wonderful things of nature help us shade away these grim and these sad and gloomy thoughts, and they remove the veil of the gloom of sadness and bring hope and optimism in our life. So in order to inculcate hope and optimism in our life, it is important to come across these beautiful sights, these beautiful things whose memory will really help us get away this hopelessness and despondence. To in spite of all this despondence and hopelessness, the beautiful sight, a beautiful sights, provides us and help us get rid of all this hopelessness and keep us, think of optimism and positive ideas in life, which is important. Now some question answers. Question number one, that is a very short question. What does a thing of beauty do for us? Well, a thing of beauty is an endless joy forever, and it is an endless joy for us. A thing of beauty is an endless joy for us, and therefore it always helps us overcome our sadness and tribulations in life. Life is full of hopelessness, sadness, and tribulations. So a thing of beauty helps us get rid of all this sadness and gloom in life and get hope of life. The memory of such a thing gives us an everlasting happiness. That is the answer of the first question. Question 2. Mention two things of beauty that Keats refer to in his poem. How do they influence us? The two things of beauty that Keats refers to in this poem are beauty of nature and beauty of literature. What are the two things that John Keats referred to in his poem? The two things that John Keats has referred to in this poem are beauty of nature and beauty of literature. Both beauty are an eternal source of joy. They influence us by helping us to overcome our sadness and gloom, besides enhancing our mood and uplifting our soul. So what do these two things, beauty of literature and beauty of nature, do? The beauty of literature and beauty of nature help us uplift our mood and spirit and give us a boost to our mind. We are always encouraged. Our mind is always enhanced and uplifted. Our soul is always uplifted by these beautiful things. And what are these two beautiful things? Beauty of nature and beauty of literature. Next question. According to Keats, what spreads the pall of despondence over our dark spirits? How is it removed? Keats says that pain and sufferings are an integral part of life. We are bound to suffer pain and sorrow. So long as we are human beings, we are bound to suffer pain and sorrow. It doesn't matter. Life is full of tribulations, hopelessness, sadness, and therefore we should not be affected by these irrelevant and small things. Life is full of sorrows, despondence, hopelessness, and tribulations. Sufferings and sorrows are part of life, according to Keats. But what really helps, despite all this despondence in life, a beautiful sight, the memory of a beautiful sight help us get rid of this despondence and dark spirit, and our soul gets uplifted and we get hope of life, optimism. So a beautiful sight, the memory of a beautiful sight helps us get motivated, and motivated from nature really removes this covering of despondence. Motivation from nature. Nature is the source of ultimate motivation to our human soul. Our human soul gets motivated with these beautiful sights of nature, which really helps us remove sadness and the pall of covering of sadness in our life. And the last question: what is the message of the poem, A Thing of Beauty? The message that the poet conveys and the poem conveys is that a thing of beauty gives us endless joy. It helps us come out of sadness and hopelessness, and the memory of such a beautiful thing is a source of an everlasting happiness. So any sight of beauty, any memory of beautiful things is an everlasting source of joy. That is the theme of the poem. And with that, we conclude today's discussion. I'm sure my friends will get some idea. They will get enlightened of their reading of the text of this poem, A Thing of Beauty, the poem number 4 by John Keats. And I'm sure they will be confident with the answers. And with that, we come to, conclude that a thing of beauty is an everlasting joy for human being. And it helps us get rid of all sadness, all hopelessness, all gloom in our life. It is just like when we sleep under the beautiful shade of trees, we get sound sleep that help us strengthen our mind and bring us peace and tranquility. In the similar way, a memory that is stored in your mind of beautiful things, an everlasting source of joy. Its loveliness never fades away. It goes on increasing. It helps us uplift our soul and motivate us to be positive, to be optimistic in life. And that is what I wanted to convey. Thank you very much, dear friends. It is editing on the channel Easy English, your own channel in Bucharest Hill City.